Welcome to the 19.9 podcast with HVS. I am Aaron Meyer. My co-host is Josh Barnett, one of the owners of 19.9, a retro college apparel company. On today's episode, we're going to go back to the draft. This time, we're going to draft teams based on players from the 1990s. But first, let's get started with Don Fisher. What's going on, Josh?
What's up, sir?
Nothing. Happy to be here on this Friday afternoon.
We got EJ in the building today. We got EJ packing orders, so you might hear the dymo going and the printer going and packages being probably mispacked, and you'll hear all that stuff. So we might even get a drop in from EJ.
Does that sound like money to your ears? Ching, ching.
It's never a bad thing. Never a bad thing. All right, so, hey, today we're going to talk about our college basketball dream team blog post from a couple weeks ago when we started to kind of put together I don't know what the premise was. We were basically saying if aliens came down, kind of the Bill Simmons thing, if aliens came down here and had to play the greatest team that you could possibly put together, who would you pick and why? And I wanted to revisit that because I honestly thought you took all the fun out of that with your picks were
because my team was so good, is what you're saying.
Your picks were complete bullshit, but probably in a good way. You played it the right way, but it was so boring.
Oh man,
it's so boring.
So you're saying being good is boring? See, I grew up with Michael Jordan, and let me tell you, it was never boring when they won every single year.
Dude, we grew up in the same time.
Well, that's true. You grew up in Southern Indiana, so I own Chicago more than you.
So as I was looking at it and getting pissed off that you picked Bill Russell, Magic Johnson, Lou Alcindor, Michael Jordan, and Larry Bird as your starters, to go up against mine, Grant Hill, Big Dog, Christian Laettner, Akeem the Dream, and Penny, I started thinking, man, if we did this as a pod, it's not even going to be fun to talk about because you ruined it.
Yeah.
And it's just dumb to say, like, okay, this is my team, and then name the greatest players at every one of their positions of all time, and not having any fun. So what I threw back to you was, let's do a 90s draft. That's kind of where 99 makes its bread and butter and where we're focused in the era that we grew up in. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of revisit that and just talk a little shit about our players, and I'm gonna try to get Mike Bibby on my team to frustrate you.
Oh my gosh! Please do not do that. I do not.
Oh, he's on the list.
Not allowed.
He's on the list, but we were gonna set it up, and we wanted to do a coach and an assistant coach. So here's what I'm gonna throw out to you. You can either pick your coach and assistant coach first, or you can have the first pick of the draft. It's a combo. So you're getting two picks of the coach picks. If you take
I definitely want the first pick because I walked in here 2 seconds ago and didn't know my coaches. I think I've got a strategy for my two coaches, but and you'll see that in a minute. But I've just picked them.
I'm more than happy to take the first coaches off the board. Done. More than happy because it's going to win the game for me right off the jump.
Wait till you hear the reason for mine, and we'll see.
All right.
Go ahead.
So my head coach is the general. Without a doubt, Coach Knight. I know that the majority of the success was in the 70s
I just wanted
and 80s.
To be said.
But does the coach change? The coach didn't change. The game might have changed a little bit, but he still had some really damn good teams in those early 90s.
No doubt.
And there's an Allen Henderson knee injury away from another national title and a complete screwing. I've made it a point to not say the F word on this podcast, but I almost lost it and did it there. In the 92 Final Four game against Duke. So you're talking about potentially 2 more national championships in 2 years there in the early 90s, and then who knows what happens if he gets those from
I'm not gonna argue with that. I mean, great coach, legendary coach. There's no doubt about it. He went on to have success after he left IU too, so it's not like he had nothing left in the tank. I think the circumstances at IU were not set up for his success, and the people that he had above him there weren't managing him in the right way, and that happens after a long time of sustained success. Sometimes relationships end, and that one ended badly, but that happens too.
Are you gonna let me pick my assistant coach and
No.
tie this all together?
I was waiting for you to jump in.
Huh?
Yep, got it.
Richard Pitino
Lord.
as the assistant coach. You got Knight on the X's and
Oh,
O's.
God.
You got Rick Pitino on the recruiting trail.
Oh,
and that, my friends, is how you build a dynasty.
Are you sure that the general wouldn't murder your assistant coach?
Okay. I was hoping you would say something like that because when we visited Coach Knight, he spoke very highly of Rick Pitino. And there was a funny story that Karen Knight, Coach Knight's wife, told where it was Kentucky and IU getting ready to play. And, Coach Knight was known for his khakis and his sweater. And so Pitino calls Coach Knight, and it's a couple weeks before the game. And he says, hey, I'm in New York right now because, he's a New York guy.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm at Armani. Let me buy you an Armani suit. You wear it to the game. I'll wear my Armani suit to the game, and people will love it. And Coach Knight just looked at me and said, I took a pass. So there's a relationship there that they can maybe get through. And Rick gets the players, and Coach Knight coaches them.
He would probably love that setup. He would have less. I'm sure Coach would have loved more of the coaching, less of the other stuff that might have helped him out.
All right, who you got?
All right, so my team, because my team's going to be so amazing, is going to be expensive. So we're going to need some people stealing from some other podcasts that know how to drop the bag. So I've got as my head coach, John Calipari.
Yeah. But my assistant coach taught the book on Cal's.
That his recruiting has lapped him, and I'm just assuming he's the same Cal as now.
But if you're taking the 90s Cal.
Yeah, but he'll be fine.
You're taking UMass Cal, which is phenomenal.
He had the template, exactly. He knew what he was doing.
But you also get the Nets Cal.
And my assistant coach is going to be Sean Miller. So we're going to have all the bags in the right.
Sean Miller was like 16 in the 90s.
I don't know. What was his first assistant coach? I said I just looked this up. So when was
I don't know. I completely
made
that up just to fluster you.
He was a Pittsburgh assistant coach in 95, 96, and at Miami, Ohio, 93 to 95. So I'm in the ballpark. Wisconsin general assistant, 92, 93. So I'm in there.
Advantage Barnett.
I agree. You gave it to me 2 seconds ago. I'm not worried about that. The players win games, not coaches anyways.
There's something to be said for that if you don't have a coaching staff that involves Coach Robert Montgomery Knight.
Well, we'll see which players you get.
It doesn't matter. You got first pick, man.
All right. First pick, I'm going with probably my favorite player from the 90s, Ray Allen. I liked him almost more than Jordan. As far as college basketball, again, I've said this before that I was kind of an agnostic about teams in the 90s, and I saw him play in South Bend, and the dude was a just monster college basketball player. The year I'm thinking of, he shot 47% from three, like 24 points a game, pass, obviously shoot, athletic dunks, iconic shots, like they're unstoppable.
You could have just stopped at Ray Allen.
I know. I can't though. That's the thing. When you like a player that much, you just keep going.
No, you're 100% right. I would say that we've almost found a way to work Ray Allen into every one of our podcasts so far because of the love for him.
Yeah.
And I saw him play live up in Indy in the NCAA tournament up there. I think UConn was the number 1 seed. And he just glided, and I've said that on our social media before, and we can't say enough good things about Ray Allen. And you see him; he's in the pod room.
We're in the pod studio. Yeah, you should have said we're in the pod studio now, so it feels official.
Yeah, absolutely. So, good pick, great pick.
Yeah.
Is it a great first pick?
I'm feeling good. I've got my guys ordered. I just got the one of one. So.
Well, yeah, okay.
We'll see if you take any of mine off the board.
I know
that's the thing that hurts.
That's the interesting thing that we got into with the shorts blog too. Was like we were so different. This one might match up a little bit more. But I think one thing that we didn't talk about was if we're playing in the 90s, like we have the danger of letting today's play bleed over into our team selection. So I know you're a big analytics guy, and I know that you're gonna pick shooters because you were gonna turn this thing into a 3-point game. But if we're playing 90s ball,
But these guys shot threes in the 90s.
They did. They did.
Yeah.
But you're not gonna outshoot a team like you can outshoot a team now.
No, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you put all shooters on the floor, they're gonna all shoot, right?
I'm going inside the Shaq. My number one pick, sir. Yes, sir. The Diesel. Shaq Daddy.
You are going 90s. You're building a team with a center.
Absolutely, because it's the 90s, son.
I can tell you that he was
awesome, incredible,
number 13 on my list.
A monster. I don't care. I didn't tell you where Ray Allen was on my list. That's just trying to demean my pick. I would never do that to you.
I would.
Shaq, man. How can you argue with Shaq?
I'm fine with it. He was on my list.
I literally have no stats to back that up. Just look at the man. Google Shaq.
We'll see what guards. We'll see what guards you get with him.
Okay. So my thought on that was, it's a good point. And in all seriousness, I felt like there were better guards out there that you could get by. I didn't think that there was a better center in the 90s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So almost like a best available at a position. You know. Yeah. And I know you hate centers.
I do.
I know you hate it.
Although you'll see my next pick will be the counterbalance,
because you have to counterbalance Shaq, but you also have to because there's not that many good ones out there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I went with Shaq.
There's one, though. And
I know. He's probably my second pick.
He's coming next.
All right, go ahead.
Are you ready? Second pick is one Timothy Duncan. Unquestionably the greatest power forward in NBA history. 4 years. It's crazy to think that he played 4 years of college basketball and then went on to become the greatest pro power forward.
Why
of all
is that
time.
Crazy?
It's because no one, even in the 90s, people weren't staying 4 years. So the fact that he stayed all 4 years and then still had enough time and, legacy to lap some of the other guys.
Special case, though, right? He didn't play much basketball.
That's
was
true.
Kind of discovered. Had to refine his craft.
He refined it, all right.
And then just mentally different, too. Some of those guys are kind of just transcendent and different and think differently. Your Shane Battier's and stuff.
Yeah.
Too.
But
not to compare Battier to
but
Duncan,
senior season, 21 points, 15 boards a game.
Stats. All these guys are good.
But the thing was that he also played more minutes probably than he ever played with the Spurs, which I thought was hilarious. He played like 38 minutes a game, like the Spurs would limit him to 30.
Please tell me that you've spread out his college numbers across a 48-minute game, and you have those numbers.
He's
incredible.
No, I don't, but that would have been incredible. If I'd had more time, I would have.
Turning into a little math nerd on me.
No, I mean, I'd have to have some stats because I wanted to look at what their best season was because I tried to think about these guys that I was picking at their very peak. Like, I wouldn't pick Iverson's freshman year. He was kind of low-key terrible his freshman year. So I wanted to be like, all right, if I'm taking this guy with my first few picks, I need to think about what is his best season, and it better be all-time great. And
well, if we did this full-time and this was our real jobs, we would probably go and we would pick, like, years to put behind when we're picking them, but we don't have the time for that, so who gives a shit?
I've got something, so.
So when we say a person's name, take their best year.
It's not, it's not just my foggy memory, at least.
Exactly. All right.
Better get a guard.
My pick. No, I don't need guards. Guards are overrated. I got a ton. And my number one guard on my list. Don't be looking over here at my list either, Meyer. My number one guard on my list, you're not gonna take. I just know it, and I can't say anything more than that. I'm going Christian Laettner, forward spot.
No, why would you do that?
One of the greatest. I need winners, buddy.
You're gonna have the
4 Final Fours, 2 national championships, 1 National Player of the Year, 2 Final Four MVPs. I think. I don't know. It sounds good. We're gonna go with that. A winner. You get him in the Fab Five. Ask Jalen Rose and ask those guys about him. Yeah, Christian Laettner was a bitch. Quotation. Until we got on the court.
You do realize that no one's gonna want to watch your team play. Is that part of building your team?
You got the last 2 picks for the original Dream Team, and you don't want.
Oh my gosh!
And you
Shaq definitely would have also murdered Christian Laettner.
But at the time, Laettner was the right pick. At that time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can.
I can't with Laettner. I didn't like him in I hated. I mean, I've always never liked Duke, but
your reaction is borderline racist.
Specifically him is just he's the worst. He's the embodiment of everything I dislike.
Well, listen, I have a son named
He's the
Duke.
He's the white Mike Bibby.
I have a son named Duke. Okay. You want me to get into that story for a minute?
You might as well. That might bring it back around. I might feel better then.
It'll give you a little time to make your next pick. Okay. So, I full disclosure, I have a son named Duke. I'm an IU fan. I named my son Duke, but really it was my wife who named it. And she doesn't know anything about basketball, doesn't care about basketball, none of the above, doesn't really care about sports. But we got into a March Madness bracket, and she wanted to have another kid. We already had two, Bella and Knox. And then she wanted to have a third. I wasn't feeling a third. So we said, okay, well, let's just do this March Madness bracket. And I said, I'll tell you what, if you beat me, we'll try to have a third kid. Really, that's a win-win for me, right? So until it happens.
100%, yeah. Then you're like.
Until she gets pregnant, I'm like, that was a bad bet.
Didn't think that all the way through.
So anyways, she doesn't know how March Madness works. I kick her ass on the points. Do 1 point for first round, 2 for second round, 3, and so on. So I'm killing her, but she picks Duke to win it all. I picked Kentucky to win it all. It was when Kentucky was undefeated, Karl Anthony Towns and that group.
Yeah.
And then they get beat by Wisconsin. Well, Duke wins. She comes running in the next day with Duke circled real big as the winner, like, we're having another kid because I won. And I'm like, no, that's not the way that the brackets work. A lot of people pick Duke to win. So as the months went on and when we found out she got pregnant, she's the one that named it Duke. She named it in honor of Duke basketball, but it also really has nothing to do with basketball. She just liked the name.
Yeah,
so.
That's all right. Anyway. I like it. That's good. That makes me feel better about Duke, though, in all honesty.
And if you name a kid Duke in Southern Indiana, he's got to grow up tough, right?
I agree.
He's going to take some shit here.
Definitely. That's a strong name.
The boy named Sue, the Johnny Cash song,
that's a strong name. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Well, since we're going like kind of a chess match here, I'm going to counter your Christian Laettner with someone that beat his team. I'm going to go with LJ, the Zenith stud on a team of studs. And again, my team, I'm building this team to be fun to watch, and he would have been incredible, like Zion level excitement had he been around in social media time. Dude was just an unbelievable athlete, multi-talented, just the gold tooth, everything. Perfect.
I love
it. I know. Yeah, you got the running Rebels right over your shoulder.
Got him in the other room too. So yeah, LJ's awesome. Just Tark was my hardest omission from my coaching staff. Just Tark, man. I don't have to back the shit up.
He could have been assistant coach, just chewing on the towel, watching, right?
I know. In that amoeba defense. I mean, I might go back. Like, if we could get a third assistant, I'll work a third assistant in the next one.
We'll call him player personnel coach.
Yeah, I love Tark, man. So those teams were awesome. But you said that he beat Laettner, and he did. But let's be honest here. If full disclosure, 1-1.
Yeah, I agree. No, so, I'm not discounting that. I
can't believe I'm on this.
It's a chess match. I'm feeling good about where my guys are.
I just can't believe I'm on here like really going all in on Christian Laettner.
I know,
a guy that I don't like.
You are.
Super like because you're coming across as an asshole.
I'm trying to win over here. I don't know if you haven't played pickup basketball with me, or when I get competitive, like I'm gonna figure out how I can win.
Well, you better start making some better selections then.
I'm feeling good right now.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty good.
Do we get EJ in here to weigh in on who wins at the end?
No, I don't respect EJ's opinion on basketball. I've seen him shoot. Just kidding, EJ. You're doing a good job packing the mortars, buddy. All right, so it's my pick, right?
Yeah.
Big Dog.
Man, you love Big Dog. That's 2 teams you picked him on.
Big Dog, and I'm not didn't grow up a Purdue fan either, and that guy was just like he really was like a transcendent talent. I feel like he was college Big Dog was insane. Man, he was insane, dude.
I remember watching him play, and I do think talent-wise, he was unbelievable. And I guess the guys that I'm picking are players I liked watching play, though.
You didn't like watching Big Dog play?
I did not.
Have you gone back and watched him play?
I have, and I think that like.
No, you have not.
I have.
Wait, you just sit at home and throw in Big Dog clips into YouTube?
No,
you got to prove to me that you just made that up.
If I had time, I'd pull up my YouTube history from the summer because you had me doing like the rewatchables thing. So I was going through old games. Yeah, so I won a couple Purdue games because I was thinking about going and doing a Purdue one. Because you guys have Purdue, and I was like, well, that'd be a fun one to do.
Dude, he gave it to Chaney. He gave it to Henderson. He gave it to Bailey. He gave it to those dudes.
It is a little like Zach Randolph.
And I love those guys.
It is like Zach Randolph versus Jared Jeffries, that kind of thing. Like Randolph handed it to Jared Jeffries in the state tournament.
I was there.
Always.
I was behind the bench a few rows up.
It has that same sort of feel, right? Like big brother, some of those guys.
Well, he was always pissed because Henderson won the Mr. Basketball. I perceived him to be.
It's the same thing, right?
Yeah,
Jeffries won Mr. Basketball over Randolph.
I also have a great big dog story if you want to hear it.
Of course.
So we go up to Purdue and we're doing some research in the archives at Mackey, and the guy that that's letting us in and doing it for us, so is talking to a super nice dude, and as we're digging through stuff, like we go through a bunch of like rubble. And we pull out Big Dog's AP National Player of the Year in '94 or whatever it was.
Oh, God.
I mean, this thing has like 2 inches of dust on the top of it. We all got our pictures taken with it and shit. Like, we were super happy. And so we asked him, we said, why is this down here? He's like, well, we said, why don't you guys have this on display? He said, we do. When somebody wins the Naismith or the AP Player of the Year award, the school gets a trophy, and then the player gets a trophy to keep. And I said, well, why is this one down here? And he said, well, I got a call from his landlord the day that he moved out from Purdue that said, hey, you better get over here. Glenn just left, and he left all of his trophies on the porch. And so that's how much, like, I'm sure it meant something to him, but he just didn't care about the trophies in the moment.
Stuff. Well, I mean, when they signed the contracts, then you got like $84 million. So he was like, I'm moving up, moving on.
I'm done. And he left it. He said, hey, you better send somebody from Purdue over here to grab these things or they're going to be gone forever. So they're down in the depths of Mackey Arena now.
That's wild.
I'm not sure I was supposed to tell that story, but I did anyway.
Too late now.
So, I'm sorry.
Am I out?
Yes, you are.
All right, I'm going. You've got no guards, and I'm taking another one.
Guards are a dime a dozen, sir.
Because my backcourt is going to be unbelievable. I'm taking Jason Kidd for my point guard.
I like it.
The guy was, the speed. Like, that's one of the things that I love on a basketball court is speed. And the way that he could accelerate away from people with the ball in his hands was unbelievable. It's not totally related, but it's like the one story that always sticks in my head. I was playing pickup hoops at the Hyper, and Antoine Randall, if anybody knows who that is, he played for the Steelers for a long time, IU football player.
Baseball player and
basketball player. But he would play pickup ball there, and he was the only person that I remember like running full speed, taking the angle, and him just accelerating away from me. It was crazy.
Like unguardable.
Unguardable. Like I didn't matter. Even if I cut the angle, ran as hard as I could, he was still going faster with the ball. And that's what Jason Kidd reminds me of. Like, he would just a blur up the court with the ball. And with the rest of my team, he's going to be real nice.
Well, it's probably also the difference between an NFL player and you.
I'd like to think it's not, but I think you might be. You could be right.
I mean, you can take a high school basketball player and put him against an athlete.
I don't look like it anymore, but I thought I was fast.
Yeah, you're fast, right? You're fast for the Hyper.
Yes.
And then there's NFL fast.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just like an unspeakable speed where you're and with the ball too. Like, there's two different things. There's like a dude that can just straight out sprint, and that, of course there's tons of those dudes that could go past me easy. But like with the ball, like that's a special skill to be able to dribble at that velocity, because it is hard. That's a whole nother level.
I don't know where to go with this next pick.
No, you're scared, I think.
I'm not scared of anything. It's
that's probably true too.
What do we want to do here? I know exactly what we're gonna do. Jimmy Jackson. Ohio State.
All right. Finally got a guard. Or would you call him a small forward?
Yeah, to me, he's a guard. That guy was a lot like Big Dog to me, where it didn't matter what you did. And those Ohio State teams were really good. if you remember.
I do.
Really, really good.
I like Jim Jackson.
Jim Jackson was one of those guys, when he came into Assembly Hall, you knew you were in for a rough night. And I felt the same way about Big Dog, too. Like those Big Ten battles were just crazy. But I just remember Jim Jackson seemingly never having a bad game.
Yeah.
All-American at least 1 year, probably second, third team another year. Just an absolute stud. I mean, he was a good NBA player too, but nothing like what he was in college. Kind of like Big Dog too.
Yeah.
But if we're just going off college stuff, give me Jim Jackson all day.
Yeah, I remember him more from the pros, but I do remember some of the Ohio State stuff too, and just kind of a multi-talented, like he could do a little bit of everything, and big. Like that dude
was a man.
Like for again, guards in the 90s.
He was just like ripped to shit before people were like ripped to shit.
Like they call him thick now. Like he definitely been called thick. Like the dude was beefy for a guard.
Exactly.
If he dropped his shoulder, you'd be
he could go. He'll post you up.
World of hurt.
So don't put Jason Kidd on Jim Jackson, or we're gonna go the post all day long.
I mean, I'm
I like it. I like how we're shaping up here.
I want to know where Shaq and Shaq's gonna go while Jim Jackson's posting up my guards,
like beating the shit out of people down low.
He's gonna be just
destroying people,
standing confused at the 3-point line.
They just put back dunks. I mean, it's just gonna be put back dunk after put back.
Not
dunk.
with Tim Duncan guarding him.
Oh God!
All right,
here we go. And I love Tim Duncan, but come on.
Oh, dude, come on! Like again, college.
Tim Duncan, skinny string bean Tim Duncan, gonna throw down on the block.
Shaq was huge. Have you seen rookie Shaq? He was skinny too.
Excuse me, sir. Have you seen Shaq's knee pads in college? Them things were thicker than Tim Duncan.
Those were impressive. All right. Finishing out my starting lineup again with my theme of the most exciting team in the history of college basketball to watch, Vince Carter. I'm got
horrible pick.
Listen,
you didn't even pick the best player off of his team.
It doesn't matter. Again, you gotta understand my premise here, and I got every player that I wanted.
Are you trying to sell tickets, Meyer? Because everybody's coming to this game regardless.
I want to watch this team, and win or lose, they're gonna be amazing, but. My team will be more exciting to watch. Like, there's no question right now.
So,
like,
okay, so just hold on a sec. Just to reiterate, we've gone from, have you ever played basketball with me? I'm super competitive. I just want to win to, well, regardless of what happens, people are going to have fun watching my team.
No, they're going to win.
You just went that way in the span of 2 picks.
No, they're going to win. Like, they're going to win, too.
You didn't sound too sure of that just 30 seconds ago.
No. Listen, Jason Kidd throwing alley-oops to Larry Johnson and Vince Carter with Ray Allen in the corner and Tim Duncan to post up if I need it. Like, I'm fine.
With Shaq making them eat that shit.
I'm fine. Shaq can't guard Tim Duncan.
You're nuts.
He couldn't guard him in the pros either.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have to. Shaq could just back him in and just dunk on him. And then Tim Duncan would just do this turnaround bank shot.
Exactly.
2 for 2.
Perfect. Cancel each
I'm
other out.
I'm not going to talk shit about Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
You act like Shaq is this, like, little klutzy Sean Bradley nerd.
No, I love Shaq. He's on my list. I just don't. I had to pick people who I'm going to win with, and I like watching.
All right. You done yet?
Yep, that was my 5th pick.
We're going second round.
What
right?
you got? I do have more. Yeah, I got my bench.
You got nervous about that when we were talking about it earlier. You didn't know how.
No, I got some fun.
How much depth we can.
See, I got more fun.
It sounds
fun
like
picks.
with that Vince Carter pick that you're running out of.
Oh
people.
No.
Okay.
I actually swapped out a big guy because you were taking all big guys. I was I'll get one more big guy in here. So my actual 5th guy didn't even get picked
90s
yet.
ball. It's man's game out there.
Yeah.
Man's game.
Guess.
And now it's time to go with my guy,
Lord.
Kenny Anderson.
Oh man,
my point guard.
That's the first one he took from me.
Where'd you have him?
I had him right above Shaq at 12, but I was gonna take him in for my bench now because I wanted a backup point guard.
So Kenny's awesome. So like in the reference, the my guy reference, anybody that knows Kenny or has ever talked to Kenny gets that. Every 3 or 4 words, it's a my guy. So he even has a My Gar cigar cigar club, which I'm a proud member of too. But I've talked to Kenny on the phone a few times. Hope he's getting better after the stroke. He had the stroke a year or so ago. But seems to be doing good. Follow him on social media and stuff. But I have talked to him a few times. Sent him a cigar. Sent him some Georgia Tech shorts, and got him on the phone a couple times. And he's just a great dude. And plus, he was a baller, right? I mean, he was awesome.
So yeah, you want to hear the stats? Because I got my stats on Kenny Anderson because he's going to be on.
I don't have any stats.
So crazy, 21-8 his freshman year.
That's nuts. NYC's finest.
Sophomore year, 26 points a game.
Can't stop him.
Unbelievable.
Mr. Chibbs.
Also thought that the reason I wanted to pick him as a New York City point guard because I wanted him on my team where he didn't need to score all those points. I think he would have fit right in, throwing passes, backing up Jason Kidd, just dishing it out to all my guys.
I also needed somebody on my team that was going to talk a little shit.
Yeah, you needed a guard. You have no guards. Jim Jackson's borderline.
Wait till you see my second five, though.
You're going to need a lot of them.
One more shout out to my guy, though.
Yes.
Kenny.
Yes, I agree.
Love that dude.
Oh
all right,
gosh.
let's do it. Let's get the bench. Two guards, 2 forwards in the center, or however you want to break it up. That's how I kind of had it set up, so just so we keep it consistent. All right, you can do what you want.
My first guy, and Coach Knight's gonna be mad that I took him, but I'm taking Calvert Chaney.
Dang, that's a good one.
I'm taking my glue. I need a glue guy, first guy off the bench where I can put him anywhere. He can do anything.
I was gonna try to get him in the next 2 picks, but I let him slide too much.
I
met Calvert before too. Super nice dude. Super nice dude.
Yep.
But that lefty stroke, and I know you're.
I need a lefty.
I know you're a lefty. My son Knox is a lefty
I needed one, and he just could do a little bit of everything. Just unbelievable college player.
So silky smooth, but he's built for Coach Knight in my system though too.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. I mean? That's why you should have picked him.
Just running baseline, coming off Shaq screens, Laettner's picking pops, and just dropping threes. He would have been a perfect fit.
He would have. Too bad he's gone.
I know. He was awesome. He was like one of those not necessarily rare IU guys, but he was one of those IU guys that was super athletic too, where he could pop up coming off that baseline and two-hand flush on you. And that, that wasn't really like the Knight mold or player. He was just flat out.
Oh, from
awesome.
day one.
From the beginning. And unheralded coming out of Harrison,
yeah,
too.
Weird. Yeah.
Super weird. Yeah. Just a freaking stud. And shit, he had a 12-year NBA career.
Yeah.
I think he started like 10 of those years.
He was good.
At a 2-guard, which was the premier position in the NBA at that time.
Yeah.
So, that's crazy.
People are so weird about, like, NBA. Like, if you're an all-time great in college, it's just assumed that you'll be all-time great in the NBA. And it doesn't always translate the same way. It's different games. Just like all those pros just went over to play FIBA, and we lost. It's still basketball, but there are different versions of it and different skill sets and different time periods, and they translate in different ways. Cal might have been better in today's game if he had refined his shot and just it's more guard oriented. He might have been like a point guard right now. Who knows?
It's nuts. Yeah. I'll never get past that lefty stroke though. It was a thing of beauty.
It was probably the prettiest lefty stroke I've ever seen.
No doubt. So fluid. All right, so I'm gonna go, and I'm so happy that I'm getting this guy on my bench because he really, to me, goes above Big Dog, and that's not a knock on Big Dog, but I knew your head would explode if I took 2 Duke players back to back. I'm going Grant Hill.
Oh my God!
And he's going in at the guard position for me because that dude's '94 season was out of control.
Yeah,
he took a team led by, I talked about this in the shorts podcast because I took those Duke shorts from '94 too. But you're talking about a team of Marty Clark, Chris Collins, Cherokee Parks, Antonio Lang was really good. But he took that team into the national championship game against Arkansas in Charlotte and becomes 1-3 away. Scotty Thurman make it rain, Hail Mary 3 from winning another national championship, which would have gave him 3 at Duke. He's also the dude the only difference in the UNLV Duke rematch from 90 to 91
was him.
Where they go from a 30-point blowout to pulling off possibly the greatest upset in the Final Four, minus maybe Nova Georgetown, 85. So you can't sleep on Grant Hill. He's one of the best do-it-all and then players of that generation. And was on pace to be one of the all-time NBA greats too before the injuries happened.
A little Calbert Chaney in there too, right? Similar skill set, kind of.
Yeah, well, not nearly the shooter, but this I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that.
Well, I mean, just like build and do a little bit of everything. I agree with the shooting. You're right.
Yeah, he played point guard for that team.
Maybe a better passer.
And that's really before that. I guess that was the age of Pippen kind of becoming that first point forward.
Yeah, they wanted him to be Jordan, but he was more the next Pippen.
Definitely.
Yeah, if he had kept going, he would have been the next Pippen.
No doubt about it. And then the thing with the big dog too, and putting big dog in the starters is, again, honestly, I just didn't want to take two Duke players in a row because I thought you'd get mad at me. And then I thought the audience would be like, God dang, this dude's just taking Duke players.
Dookie Vitale over there.
He's got a damn son named Duke? Like, what is going on here?
Man.
But, in their one matchup.
Loves LeBron probably, too.
In that Elite Eight,
right?
Grant Hill gave Big Dog the business.
He
now,
did.
Purdue people will tell you, and some of the Purdue insiders will tell you, Big Dog's back was severely messed up. So,
interesting.
Is what it is, but I'll take Grant Hill all day, every day.
All right. You do realize that you're not playing on this team, right? Because you've got no shooters. I feel like you're building a team for you to be on so that you're the primary shooter on this team.
I'm sorry, are the picks all the way in? I'm actually putting Grant Hill at a forward now so I can get some
Okay. I mean, all the rest of them have to. I need to start thinking strategically.
I have two Stone Cold Killers that you're not going to pick.
On which shooters that you're going to pick.
Yeah, you can try to snipe them. You're not going to get them.
All right, so I'm taking a shooter. I'm taking Steve Smith.
Nice, I like that.
Michigan State. It's borderline because he did play a little bit in the 80s.
Yeah, but he
sneaks in
because we have those shorts, the Steve Smith shorts, and he took that team. That Michigan State team, if I remember right, the year before was not very good that he was on. And then they weren't expected to be anything in that 89-90, which gets him into this draft, and he leads them to a number 1 seed.
Yep.
And he also responded to Instagram post we put out a long time ago.
Steve Smith did?
Yeah, and it was it put 5 good shooters from Michigan State, and we just said, who's taking the last shot here if you're a Michigan State fan, and he responded and put me. No doubt. No doubt.
He's probably right. The guy he was stone cold in the NBA too, and I love his under the rim highlights on NBA TV. That's one of my favorite things because he wasn't a high flyer, but knew his skill set and was perfect with it. So he's perfect coming off the bench.
So my philosophy, and I don't know how it's going to work because I don't know how it's going to shake out when we really look at these as the whole picture. Because you're right, I am lacking a little shooting here, but not really. You got Jim Jackson, Big Dog, and Laettner. Laettner could shoot. Grant Hill, a little iffy here and there, but he could shoot it too. He'd be fine. I just have to go best available. In my mind, you know what I mean? I just have to take these dudes that I was like, anytime IU would play them, I'm like, oh shit. Here we go. You know what I mean?
Ask how the Orlando Magic or the Phoenix Suns how best available is working. That's never
right, but
that's not the philosophy you want.
But those guys also have millions of dollars on the line.
Team USA.
That's
best available.
Oh yeah, they took you. Well, I guess they did take them. They tried. Yeah,
they did. Whatever. You got to make a team,
Yeah, but this is all hypothetical. This doesn't mean shit.
I think I'm sensing some nervousness over there now.
0. Jamal Mashburn, the Monster Mash. Is he on your list?
He is.
Yeah, you're damn right he is. Monster Mash was awesome. Kind of the Patino revival of UK basketball with that group I think they called them the Unforgettables or whatever, the guys that stuck around after the death penalty, right?
Yep.
And then Mashburn's the match that set it off.
He did.
Go to the 93 Final Four. That dude was a lot of Grant Hill, Jim Jackson, Big Dog, where it didn't matter what you did, he was getting his. And he could get to his spots, and you knew that you were just in for a battle.
Thick, too.
Yeah. Love that.
You're going to call your team thickness.
Do it all, man. He could do it all. So
yeah,
and he could shoot. He could shoot from outside too.
He was in that game with probably the greatest college basketball game of all time too. With that against Duke.
That was the year before they made the Final Four. Yeah. So the '92 game. Yeah,
unbelievable guy.
So I'm liking my team though. I got some studs, man. But we're all gonna have them, right? Because
there is an unbelievable. It was weird going through it. How many guys there were. Just a ton of incredible players.
I kind of like bracketed mine as to where I thought they'd be. If you pick this, then I'll go this direction or this direction.
Yeah,
and you could go three to four deep and feel comfortable with all of them.
Yeah.
You know?
All right, I'm up.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm taking Chris Webber.
That's a nice pick. I did have him.
And I think I loved watching him play in college. And it's weird. He's one of those guys. I think Russell Westbrook's another one of these guys that it seems like everyone always remembers their flaws rather than how unbelievable they are. Every time someone talks about Russell Westbrook, they always start out with the stuff that he can't do.
That's a good point.
And I'm like, the guy is
phenomenal.
Unbelievable.
Like Olympic athlete out there.
What are you talking about? And same thing with Weber. Like everyone talk about the timeout or what he didn't do. I mean, he was unreal. Like
he was awesome.
I mean, for me, like as a big guy, perfect. Perfect big guy to watch. I mean, would have fit in any era of basketball. He could have played today. Could have played 50 years ago. It didn't matter. Could pass, shoot a little bit. Powerful.
He also was the best actor on Uncle Drew too.
I think you're right.
That helps. That counts for something. I think.
I'm glad that you watched that.
I do have a question for you though. When you watch those Michigan teams, was your favorite player Weber or was it Rose?
Bob Rose. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Why though? Rose was cool as shit. I think that's what it was.
It's there's something.
His attitude, Rose's attitude was like next level to me.
Trash talk too.
He
had a little trash talk. It seemed
a lot of trash talk.
It seemed like Weber got it. You know what I mean?
From Rose.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Weber's Detroit Country Day.
See,
private school.
See, talking about what he didn't have. It's everybody. Like there's something.
I didn't say anything he didn't have. I just said what high school he went to.
I mean, but in saying that.
I mean,
private school, isn't there like a little less legitimacy?
No, because Country Day is like a perennial power.
But I'm saying there's like less legitimacy.
He didn't come from the street. He came from a very good, upbringing and all that stuff. But they hit on that in the Fab Five, 30 for 30. And I can't remember who says it, but they say that the Fab Five took on the personality of Jalen because he was just such a big personality,
Charismatic.
And he was coming from inner city. Dad was pro athlete, didn't have much to do with him, and he carried that chip, and that chip is what I love.
Yeah.
And then Weber's, to me, always just seemed almost a little fabricated.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't really being who he was. That's not to take away his dominance or say anything about the pick because he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But that just general discussion here.
Sometimes when you have everything, it's hard to not to look at you and be like, man, that have the chip, right?
Right.
I mean, he was awesome.
He was awesome.
He
was
no
awesome.
Doubt.
He was awesome. All right, let's get some shooting. What do you think?
What do you got? I don't know.
I'm going to go with Little Penny's best friend. Do you know who that is?
No idea.
You don't know who Little Penny's best friend is? They went to college together.
I have no idea.
You don't know that?
I mean, once you say it, maybe, but...
Randolph Childress out of Wake Forest.
Okay.
A personal favorite.
Liked him.
Absolute stud.
Yeah.
Teamed up with your boy Tim Duncan.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, they crossed paths.
Yeah, for a couple years. At least two years, for sure. And but that tear that he went on in the ACC tournament, what was it, 95 probably?
Yeah.
Was just otherworldly. And he had so Randolph Childress had the play of the 90s. The entire
Oh no, I know. I had to think about it for a second. I got you.
In trouble
no,
with
I got you.
If you don't know the play that I'm talking about.
I got you. Yeah.
The crossover on McGinnis.
Yeah.
It was like the first killer crossover that anybody had ever seen. And then in the world of middle 90s basketball, this dude goes completely cutthroat playground pickup ball and tells him to get up with his fingers. As he's having, I think it's Rashid running out towards him and buries it. And then they beat Carolina. It's the play of the 90s. Childress is my guy. I got an autograph from him when we were down at Wake Forest. Super nice for doing that. Thank you, Coach Childress. And that guy could flat out struggle. So there's your shooting. There's one part of my shooting coming off the bench.
I love it. Who? So how many picks we got left? I need to know where we're at here. How many more?
You took the first pick, right?
Yeah.
So you should only have one because I
only got one more left.
Two left, I think. So I don't know. Hell, who knows? Right. Pick as many as you want. What, are you texting or are you?
No, I had to confirm something.
Is that research on
your
phone?
Yeah, it's research, yeah.
What the hell is your computer doing?
Recording this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't get to multitask on my phone. I'm going to take another guard because that's just what I'm doing. I'm taking Penny Hardaway.
Yeah, man. I should have never said Lil Penny.
I know. You got it in my head, and I was like,
God dang it. Gosh dang it. Penny's the man.
He's going to be a great backup. Could also play pretty much any position on the floor, especially at the college level. You know, it fits with my theme, passing. I'm loving my team.
I told you only have one pick left. You have another one.
That's unfair.
Huh?
That's unfair. I'm
take it back?
No.
I'm glad we take Penny off your hands.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, Penny's awesome. Those Memphis State shorts that we have are some of our best sellers too. Memphis fan
base the other day.
Insanely passionate. That's a great.
People don't know that it's Memphis State though. It's funny. That's the thing I get asked is like, it's like who played for Memphis State?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's Penny.
Penny, man.
You're like Penny?
Like there's a Memphis State and a Memphis. Like no, it's the same thing.
Yeah. Did Cal Perry coach that? No, not that either.
That was different. All right, I might go. I don't want to say outside the box here because this dude's household name was All-American stud, leading the Cincinnati Bearcats to the 1992 Final Four. Nick the Quick.
Ooh, all right.
Van Exel.
I like the lefty love on your team.
Absolutely. Well, you got Calvert though, so I had to combat that with Van Exel, but he was.
You got two. You got Kenny too, right?
And Kenny, and Kenny. But Van Exel was awesome, man. Nick the Quick and that handle he had was nuts, and he took that Cincinnati team with Corey Blunt to the 92 Final Four, and they got beat by Weber in Michigan. But that was a hell of a game. Like, the refs had to stop that game 15 times in the first half to tell everybody to stop talking to each other.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking so much shit.
Oh, my God, I know.
Can you imagine Van Exel and Rose, though, going back and forth up and down the court together?
There'd be a million technicals if it happened today.
That maybe needs to be an HVS classic that we go back and rewatch.
That would be fun. I'm in.
All right, let's do it.
All right, now my official last pick. Yep. I'm taking Rasheed Wallace.
Oh, I love it. How do you not like Rasheed, you know?
He was awesome in college too, and again goes back to the trash. It's weird that now that you brought it up, I can't stop thinking about the guys that would talk trash and just like, you know, yo mama basically.
No doubt.
And it just is like something that disappeared. I know that some people, I'm sure that some people were offended or didn't like it, but I never remember like thinking that it was out of place. Like, it always felt like authentic, and it didn't seem offensive like to the players on the court. I'm sure again, like fans or some people didn't like it, but the players seemed like it was natural to them. Like they were like, we're just, you know, going at each other.
It was a generational gap, right? So like when you were growing up in the 90s, you were probably at home watching the majority of those games.
For sure.
So you're watching with your mom and your dad or uncles or grandpas or whatever, and so, you know, you're hearing Oscar Robertson and Jerry West and Dr. J and all that stuff, and the game was just changing. So I think that always has a lot to do with it too, where it was never offensive to us. Like, I'm like, I love it. I talk shit when I go out there and play.
But it disappeared though then. I mean,
because buddy ball.
Maybe.
No maybes. It's 100%.
So they're just because they're. But those guys.
Hey man, are we gonna go ride on the banana boat after the game, or we, you know?
So you think because they didn't know each other? But
then you had KG. KG was like our last one that would like get at you.
Yeah.
I mean, he's out there talking about people's wives.
Yeah, he maybe stepping.
Honey Nut Cheerios.
He was line stepping.
Yeah, exactly. I love KG though. Yeah. Like, I love that shit. All right, last pick. And here's the thing: you got two Carolina players, right?
Yeah.
So you got Rasheed and Carter.
I do.
And you didn't even get the best one of the entire 90s.
Oh, come on.
You didn't even pick him.
Go
you
ahead.
didn't pick Jameson. I'm not picking him.
I had him on there. I actually just wrote down Rasheed over James. He was going to be my last pick, and I picked Rasheed instead.
I'm going with Camby. I need a center to fill out my spot.
After all that, and then you switch over to Camby?
I was never going with Jameson. He's on my list, and I think it was between Jameson and Mashburn for me. And when I moved Grant Hill to a forward, Jameson was just the odd man out.
I just think about Rasheed. Like, I know maybe stats wise, Jameson might be better, but man, give me Rasheed all day, every day. Just like bigger, longer, attitude.
That's
everything.
Picking with your heart, though.
Yeah, but again, off my bench, like I want a guy that's coming in like
Antoine
breathing
Jameson,
fire.
We can agree was unstoppable.
He was unstoppable, but he wasn't breathing fire. Like, he's not a guy that's coming off. Like, you want your bench people in any basketball game to come in and change the dynamic of the game. I don't know that Jameson's going to do that, especially with the other guys on my roster. Like,
can you be quiet so I can talk about my pick, Marcus Camby?
Well, I think we've talked about him before already. It's fine.
We have talked about. You actually talked the most about him.
That's right. I know.
In the pod, but Camby was a stud. He was the kind of he wasn't Tim Duncan, but he was along the same lines. Long, lanky. He could grab a rebound, take it up the court. Had nice touch. Made free throws. Dominated the boards. Defensively was awesome. Led the '96 UMass team to a Final Four. Mm-hmm. That great Kentucky team. He's 1-1 against them on the year, but they could conceivably have a national championship at UMass with him, Cal, and
Except that it would have been taken away.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. I mean, this is a judgment-free zone.
I agree
with any of that shit.
I agree.
Michigan needs to hang the banners. Louisville needs to put up the banner if they took that thing down.
I know.
Just celebrate it.
It's over.
You're not taking the memories away from the fans, right?
I agree.
I mean,
it's true.
Memphis, put them back up.
Yeah.
Everybody put them back up.
Yeah. We're bringing back the IU.
Maybe start a petition. We can get that back.
Start a petition.
All right, I'm gonna
recap here. Did you keep track?
I'm not gonna recap because I only kept mine.
Okay.
But what I'll do is
you can read off yours. I got mine.
I mean, do you want to recap?
No,
is that what you're saying?
Don't
ask me if I want to recap. If you're saying that we're gonna recap,
I just want to read off all mine together.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Read it off.
All right, my starting five: Ray Allen, Jason Kidd, Tim Duncan, Vince Carter, Larry Johnson.
Who's your bench?
My bench: Calbert Chaney, Steve Smith, Chris Webber, Penny Hardaway, and Rasheed Wallace.
That team sounds really, really good.
Really good.
Until I read mine.
Oh, no.
Starters at point guard: Kenny Anderson, shooting guard Jim Jackson, small forward the big dog, power forward Christian Laettner, center is Shaq. My bench, I come off with shooting with Van Exel and Childress. Got do-it-all Grant Hill, the Monster Mash, and then Camby.
It's good.
It's a legitimate.
It's a good team.
Both of them legitimate. But how could you pick a shitty team?
No,
you know
you can't. We could probably go 10 more and still pick another amazing team.
We really could, looking at kind of the list and stuff. I didn't even work my boy like Lawrence Moten in there, personal favorite, Damon Stoudemire. Like
I went deep on the threes thing, of course, because you said I love trying to shoehorn old players into new things, but Randy Rutherford for Oklahoma State hit 146 threes in a season. It was one of the all-time, still to this day, one of the all-time three-point shooting seasons.
I would have countered with Dante Calabria from UNC.
That would have been a good one.
But we would have been laughed off of our podcast if we put those two dudes on.
Who was the guy from the other guy? Oh, was it Shammond Williams? Loved him on Carolina.
Donald Williams. Remember Donald Williams? I think he won the national or the
should have done just an all shooters team.
Whatever. Most outstanding player.
No one picked other ones from my list that were kind of left out. No one picked Allen Iverson. Kind of surprising on that one.
Yeah.
No, I thought for sure he was on my list. But
I was between Kenny and Iverson, but I thought that
of the 90s, that's tough.
We're
I know.
For not taking Iverson.
I know, but I had my guards, like that was the thing.
I know it.
And he just didn't fit on my team, especially like my point guard needed a pass because all my guys are shooting.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I had a ton of people on my list.
He's a guy you almost have to like craft a team around because he is so ball dominant and so good.
As I was making my list, the one guy that jumped out to me that I haven't thought about in a while and maybe doesn't get his just due is Stevie Franchise. Remember how good he was?
He was
at
really
Maryland?
Good. Crazy athletic.
He was a stud.
Yeah.
Some others: John Wallace, Bobby Jackson, Kittles, obviously Iverson,
Stackhouse,
Keith Van Horn.
I looked at him.
Was a stud, man. Yeah. Damon Stoudemire already mentioned. Big Nasty, Corliss Williamson.
Mm-hmm.
Elton Brand came in 98 and then 99.
That's right at the end.
Rodney Rogers out at Wake was a stud.
I liked him too.
Bobby Hurley didn't get picked.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't have ever picked him.
I know, but you're just a Duke hater. Like, you can't take the Duke blinders off.
It's true.
And then one of my personal favorites was B. Diddy. I love Baron Davis at UCLA, man.
Was he 90s?
Yeah. 99 at the end. He was third-team All-American in 99. Huh. Crazy, huh?
Yeah, he was fun to watch.
All right, you want to wrap it up?
I think that's it.
All right, so next time when we come back, I do have a couple gifts for you before this podcast gets over.
Are these gifts for winning? Is that what you're saying?
No. And they're gifts that I need back. But we're going to do – I want to get into some shoes, man. You know I love shoes, and I know you love shoes. And
definitely.
We've done a couple blogs about them, but I really want to just discuss and talk about them because I think it kind of connects with what we do in the basketball culture and stuff too. So I have my holy grail of shoe books here. Soul Provider by Scoop Jackson, our guy Scoop Jackson.
You can tell the thing I love about this already is that you can tell that it's well worn. It's a little bit yellowed so that it's been like handled. So it's
Why
not
are you
just,
talking shit about my book?
No, because it means it's not just like it's like a pair of shoes. Like I hate if you buy basketball shoes, I hate hate's a strong word. Like the people who just collect them never wear them. I never understand that. Like
don't keep your shoes dead stock.
Yeah, right.
Wear your shoes,
like
man.
why? So
like
if you've got a cool book, like hand it out, look through it.
So my point of giving you that is to do your research.
Amazing.
Come up with some of the stuff that you love growing up, some of the stuff that you love now, some of the stuff that you wish they'd bring back. That book is phenomenal. And Scoop, I've actually talked to Scoop a few times through email. Super nice dude. And you and I were talking earlier. I'd love to try to get him on the podcast, but he might be too big time for us, which is fine. But if we can get him on, we'll talk to him about the book. Here's the deal. If you mess that up, or if one of your damn dogs chews that thing up, like the podcast is over.
Now, so
the podcast is over. I'm going to quit my teaching position that I see you every day at.
This is available still, right?
We're going to move our podcast room and our space down here. Like, I'm going to fall off the face of the earth if you screw that book up.
All right, I got you.
And then I got one more for you. That's the Slam Kicks, the basketball sneakers that changed the game. So read up, do some of your research on that, and then we'll come back and we'll get it. And then you want to tell the audience about the reviews and click and subscribe and how that helps us too, right?
So if you're listening, definitely rate and review the podcast. That helps us get on the Apple and the other charts. And if there is a platform that we're not on and you want to listen to it on that, just let us know. Send Josh an email. What's the best way to contact you think? Social media?
Social media. Yeah, for sure. Or you can also email us either at 99@99.com or you can email me personally at jbarnett, BARNETT at 99.com. I'm answering both of those accounts, so no worries.
Appreciate everybody that has reached out and given us feedback. Definitely enjoying that process as well, and looking forward to getting back to it with some of the shoes next week. All right, man.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for listening to the 19.9 podcast with HVS, the High Volume Shooters. For more information, check out the blog at 19.9.com under HVS, and while you're there, do yourself a favor and pick up some retro college shorts. Till next time.